Good morning, Monday the 10th of July, and out for a walk. And it's been a long time since I did a walk and a talk. I have been walking a little bit more recently, but I haven't been talking whilst I walk. I've been listening to different things, messages from friends. I love to get long audio messages via WhatsApp, and then I listen to these messages on my walks, and that's also when I can do some personal messaging to friends, which is also great because you get this time just to chat and to speak about what's in your head and your heart without anybody interrupting and changing things, just stopping the flow. And that's what these walks are like. There's this real freedom. It's a liberty, just to be able to do this, to walk freely in nature, enjoy the beauty of the countryside, and share stuff that's in head and heart. And I suppose that's really one of the things that I've been thinking about over the last couple of days is freedom. Freedom is something that many of us wish for. Not everybody. Some people don't have the courage, and that's it's just their makeup. It's just how the program is running in their life. They were programmed to fear, programmed for anxiety, programmed for all of these things. I remember a lovely lady, her name was Dot. She's passed away now. When we were pastoring in Harare, she attended the church that we pastored, and she told me categorically. She said, "I'm a person who's afraid. I'm afraid of everything." She said, "I worry about absolutely everything. I've been that way since I was a child. Nothing was going to stop it. Nothing was going to change it." And she was comfortable with the realization that this is, at that time, is exactly who her essential personality was. She wasn't looking to really, I suppose, change that because she was comfortable enough in it. And I think there was a hope that it could change, but she had tried everything, And so, she submitted to that and lived, and was not unhappy. She lived a good life. She had surrounded by, loving family and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and stuff. And then she passed away, and she passed away well, from what I hear. When her husband let us know, he just said it, it was beautiful and she was now free and what have you. So, but she understood that fear was an essential part of her nature. And we're taught to be afraid of everything. I just got in the car with Colin this morning, and I was a little bit annoyed that I had to put a seatbelt on. I felt that little thing like, oh man, what a pain. But I know if I don't put it on, the car's going to go beep, beep, beep. And then we also are told that it's illegal and you get fined. And I said to him, I remember the days we didn't have to wear seatbelts. Now, of course, those of us who remember those days are passing away. And in the fullness of time, there will not be anybody who has that memory of not having to wear a seatbelt. And how easily we give up our freedoms. Now, not saying seatbelts in and of themselves are bad things, although there are people I know who would argue against them. And but there's also no doubt that they have, saved lives, prevented greater injury. But I said to Colin, the problem is that it's enforced, that it's not a freedom anymore. And we were, at some point, we gave up that freedom without, without much of a whimper, really. And it should be about choice. It should be about choice. Because what it really, I said to Colin, I said, most of us, and maybe there's a lot of people, maybe it's the majority of people, still think that it's about safety and protection and saving lives. When I see it as, because to me it's absolutely clear that keeping people alive is not actually the ultimate goal. It's more about being able to control human behavior and make money out of them. And this creeping control, it's been decades in the coming. And now it seems to be, barreling towards us. Greater control of everything. I just posted a video over the last day or two, I can't remember which day, maybe it was Saturday, to my Facebook, a little YouTube video by Omeletto. And Omeletto is a really great little channel. Anyway, so this was a video about where people have become the nation's police, and they video and photograph everything, and people are just fined for everything. It's, social whatever it is, on steroids. And there's kind of like, if you watch it, if you go to my Facebook page and you watch that, I think most people would say I don't know, maybe not most people, but certainly I know when I watched it, I got, oh my goodness, I feel like that's the journey we're on. Now, I'm not going to live in that reality. Where we're all policing each other and helping the big controllers to control everybody. I'm a great believer in personal freedom. I still think that we live with so many controls in our life that we don't even know what freedom is. I remember another friend of mine, Will, telling me about his son who lives in Australia, and his son works for himself and travels around the country. I think he's got a camper van or something. Travels around the country and is able to be exactly where he wants to be. He doesn't work for anybody. He gets out. He's got a particular trade. He can work anywhere and stay anywhere and go anywhere. And I thought, wow, he's achieved a level of freedom that so many people would want. But perhaps, to be fair, so locked into the system that it's almost too scary to do something like that, because we've been conditioned and programmed to be in this system, the slave system. You wake up every morning, you do this, it's the same program. You wake up every morning, you have whatever it is, whatever your daily routine is. You'll know your routines. We each have our routines. For a lot of us, I remember the days when I used to smoke. My first thing was to light a cigarette. Oh my goodness. I have never regretted giving up smoking. Gave up smoking on the 1st of January 1998. Yeah, so it's been a while. And I'm so glad, because that was a control in my life. That controlled me, and I spent my money. I worked to have money, and I used that money to do stuff like that. What a controlling thing. First thing you do in the morning. So I suppose that's a good question. What is the first thing that you do in the morning? A lot of people say that if the first thing you do in the morning is switch on your phone and check for messages, that's part of the program, and it is, and it's part of my program. But it's the recognizing these programs and having the courage to change them. Change your morning habit. Just give yourself the freedom to do something, a little different. So I quite like certain routines. I quite like certain, I have a particular thing that I do, that I have for breakfast, and I like a certain knife and fork to eat with and stuff like that. But these are all just, they're not harmful. They're just something to recognize and then change it up. Don't let these things control you, because it's the small little things that eventually you're blind to the bigger things. We're just creatures of habit, and if I've said yes to the little things, and then the little things get a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger, before you know it, we're so utterly enslaved. And this is what's coming with the digital currency system, the reduction of cash. And I'm so glad to hear people just saying we're going to keep using cash, and we're going to boycott places where they don't take cash, and that's brilliant, and that must go on for as long as possible. Now, I do think there's an inevitability about things, but I think we can prolong some of our freedoms by resistance. Just don't say yes to that which is a control mechanism that you are not making a choice about. Everything should be by choice. The fact that, it's, as we pointed out today, Colin pointed out today, the whole thing with wearing helmets when you're riding bikes. A lot of people think that that's the law. Now, it's not the law. It's not bad advice. It's not a bad thing to do, but it's not the law. But the longer people do it, it will at some point become legislated, and then people will be fined for not wearing, and this is how it works. It's gradualism, little by little, tiptoe by tiptoe. We give up our freedoms because we think that we're in danger and that this keeps us safe. And since when should we not have the right to determine our own exposure to risk? That's ultimate freedom, isn't it? I remember with the whole COVID debacle. I remember saying, I'm just not afraid. Because people were so afraid. And people I worked with were getting quite concerned, and I'm just like, I'm not afraid. So here are the options. You either get it or you don't, and if you get it, you either live or you don't. Surely that's life. You walk out your front door and that's life, So live life. Just live life. Don't live this small, restricted life. Go out there and adventure. Go and do something that you were afraid to do. I remember breaking through that mold, that fear barrier, when I bungee jumped. And Oh, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And then it was utterly exhilarating. And it's like, my goodness, I want to do that again. So yeah, don't allow yourself, don't self-limit. There's enough control going on that stops you from being as free as you want to be. Yeah. Don't self-limit. Don't impose limits on yourself. You are infinite potential and possibility. And I hope that today helps somebody. What I've said today helps somebody just, I don't know, gather a little courage to push past the fear barrier and to discover, discover something about yourself that you didn't know was there. That's lovely. It's a lovely thing to do. And this is a lovely day. And I'm just so grateful. I am so grateful, filled with gratitude for the precious privilege that I have of living right where I live and living my purpose in my role. I realize that my role in this, at this time, in this present moment, is to care about people, to care about humans, to care about their well-being, whether it be health, social, or mental and emotional. And not that I am somebody who is a practitioner, but I care about being able to bring the resources that are available from the massive variety and diversity of people and services and practitioners out there, and hopefully meet the needs of somebody to reduce suffering. And that's not to eliminate suffering, because I think that, we learn through the things we suffer, but to help bring comfort when necessary, to bring encouragement, to bring, just a sense of not being alone, having somebody who will listen and will act when somebody's feeling afraid or what have you. I received a phone call on the weekend, and there was a person sharing something, and I just heard something in the sharing, in the voice, and realized that this person needs something, and if then not everybody's able to, articulate their need. So if we really listen, we can hear it. And sometimes it's as simple as just saying that you can do something. And sometimes that something is really simple. It's just listening. But you can do something to make that person feel heard, valued, loved, connected, and give them a sense of belonging. We have an epidemic of loneliness, apparently. We can all help. If it's not us who have that loneliness, we can all help to reduce that epidemic. That's one that concerns me, not other things about, because we could all get stuck up in discussions about terrain theory and germ theory and all this and the next thing, but no, I'm not interested in that. I think, wherever possible, hear people. and be wise in our responses, and be loving and kind always, compassionate. Yeah, let me say goodbye. I've rambled on enough as I've rambled down the road, and now all the vehicles will be coming, so that'll just make things more unpleasant. Anyway, lots of love and have a grand, beautiful, blessed, sunny day wherever you are. Bye.